minor stuff first, quickly. I grew up in church, but it was a church where the truth was taught, but I didn't find a lot of life in it. So, because I found that relationship is where you find life. And so no matter how much people tell you the truth, if you're not seeing relationship there, you don't really find life in it. And so, in high school, I was always kind of like the guy who did the right things, kind of like he was talking about with Brittany. I was always doing the right things because that's how I was raised, but I really didn't do it because I love God so much. And by the time I was in college, in college the first party comes along and all of a sudden things can spin out of control really quick. And I started drinking a lot, and that led to using drugs. And I was, I fully bought into that college party lifestyle. And because that's where I found relationships, when it's like people who drink talk. You can't be a drunk and quiet. I mean, it just isn't. So you get to know people, the line in Cheers, you want to go where everybody knows your name or they're always glad you came. Well, that's kind of like how it was. And so I found relationships there. And unfortunately, the people I drank the most with were the people I grew up in church with, because we all had similar experiences. We weren't finding anything in church. And so we just continued to get in trouble, and then one of us started, not me, but one of my friends started getting into trouble more frequently, and had a couple of accidents, got a DUI, lost his license, things like that. And about the time I was 21, there was something about when I was before I was 21, going to the bars I don't know, it really was like, it was great because I can do this and I'm not getting in trouble, and I should be, but so I really, the challenge or something, I don't know. So we were just at bars all the time and not getting kicked out, and that wasn't necessarily a good thing. But when I turned 21, God started showing me that, okay, it's not a challenge now, it's legal. And it just became really empty. I started seeing, it's like, okay, we're doing the same thing, we're sitting, we're having the same beer, we're having the same conversations, and there's nothing, the life that I thought I was looking for, I wasn't finding there. And two things kind of brought everything to a head. One was I was out in my backyard, and we were smoking a little weed, and it was just, it was just a nice night. We were sitting out in the backyard, and the thought came to me, do you know how stupid you are? Your neighbor, the cop, is right out on the other side of the garage. I mean, he was outside. I could hear him talking to his son. It's like, all you have to do is come over and say, what are you doing? It was obvious. And then a friend of mine and I, we were out just road drinking and talking. And he said, that whole, I can't remember exact words, but basically it was, the church is so phony and there's nothing real there. And we got into this conversation, and as we were having this conversation, deep in my heart, I knew that the words were coming out of my mouth were totally wrong. That there was something there. Just because I hadn't experienced it where I was didn't mean the church was wrong. It meant that I hadn't pursued God enough to find Him in the midst of everything. And so I really, really started. This was when I was 21, and it's like something in my life isn't right. I can't find it in the church, and I can't find it in the world, and I don't know what it is. And this guy started kind of persistently asking me to a Bible study. A college Bible study. And finally I said, okay, leave me alone, I'll go. And it was really weird. The first night I said I would go, these friends who I used to go out drinking with every single night, it's like either I would call them or they would call me. I didn't talk to them for months. They never called me. It's like they were always calling me. And it was like God just said, okay, I'm going to set you aside for a time to do the things I need to do in your life. And He did. He kind of just put the shield around me. And then one of them moved away, one of them that I spent the most time with. And he moved away, and he wasn't around. He was just completely out of the picture. And it was about 4 years before he got into some serious trouble. And he was living in California, and he had to move back here because he couldn't afford to pay his fines. So rent was high, his fines were high. And so he moved back here because he got a job. And God restored that relationship, but it was after he saved him too. Anyway, what I found is that from that time, God has said, see, when you look for me in the right places, you do find the life you're looking for. And in the last 24 years almost now, I found that, the things I thought were important to me ceased to be important a long time ago. But God has said, if you'll let me, I'll let you live your life on the edge. But if you live your life on the edge, it'll be full of excitement and wonder. And you'll be doing things you can't imagine you were able to do. And you'll be going places and seeing things and talking to people you would have never imagined. And I guess that's the passion he's put on my heart. The world's view of success isn't all that important. It doesn't ever matter if these kids make $1 million or if they have nice cars and nice houses. It matters that they know that God has a plan, and his plan is full of life and full of joy and full of excitement. And that's, I guess, my testimony.